This summer, CN Rail announced it would let go of its long-term lease of the former BC Rail line north of Squamish that runs all the way to 100 Mile House. CN's departure is expected to have a huge impact on towns and people living along the tracks. So where did this story start? Let's take a look back at a CBC News story from 2003.
Since 1917, BC Rail has been running its trains out of this yard in Squamish. At one time, more than 500 people worked here. In recent years, that number has been cut back to 150. And now that the provincial government has sold BC Rail to CN Rail, this yard is expected to close for good.
The employees had a meeting with the railway executive yesterday afternoon. And the executive made it quite clear that, in their opinion, all the jobs are going to be gone.
The effect of those job losses on this community of 15,000 is on the minds of many here this week.
You know, people, they'll lose their houses and lose their jobs, and yeah, of course it'll have an effect.
They're all homeowners, they all buy stoves, they all buy parts and pieces off me, so yeah, well, and they're all friends of mine too.
But the mayor of Squamish says much of that concern may be unwarranted. According to Ian Sutherland, when you crunch the numbers, the situation isn't nearly as dire as some believe.
Now, CN stopped running its freight service along the line a few years ago. So what happens to the services and people who rely on that rail line now? Joining us is the Mayor of Squamish, Armand Hurford. Mayor, what worries you most about CN's discontinuance of this lease with the province?
Well, first of all, Squamish does still have, just for situational awareness, Squamish does still have access to the rail access to the south, but we're concerned here about further erosion of that service. We have a long history of rail in the community, and we also but it also forms, we feel, a key part of our economic future as well.
And in a growing region like your community. Now, in a statement to CBC News, CN Rail says it prioritizes transparency with its stakeholders and customers in all its decision-making. What has the company told you so far, if anything?
Not a lot. And frankly, it's the province I'd like to hear from on this as to what the process is and what the vision is for this important asset.
Now, we have heard as well from the BC Transportation Ministry, which says it's told us it has met with CN leadership to understand this decision and review next steps, though it notes that it also referred us to the Canadian Transportation Agency on a federal level. What does that give you any comfort, or what do you make of what they're saying there?
Very little comfort in that. I think that the federal agency is looking out for its regulations and CN's obligation. It's not looking out for the interests of the province. This is a provincial asset, and I think we need to have an idea. And I'd like to see some leadership from the province on what the vision is. What is an ideal outcome for this asset? And I haven't heard that vision, nor have I seen any commitment to working through what that could or should be.
What would happen to Squamish and its people and businesses, including port operations, if this line north of you shuts down?
Well, again, it is an erosion of the service here. What we're hearing at this point is that we will have access to the south, and we do have a port to service, and we have a lot of industries here in Squamish that having access to international markets via rail is important. So I think that on some levels we'll be okay on this step, but really this asset is just such a big piece of British Columbia, and when we hear about trade enabling initiatives and things like this, and as well as our need to reimagine our transportation future, stepping away from a rail line like this just does not feel like the path forward to me.
And lastly, Mayor, we appreciate your time. What would you like to see the line be used for in the future?
Well, I think that in Squamish here, we would like to continue to see access and our port to have access to that rail line. I do think that there should be opportunity for passenger service at some point, and to what extent and how far along the line, I'm not sure, but given that the sea to sky highway is incredibly challenging to maintain, and we have lots of both tourism and regular sort of commuters to move around. I think that a rail line should form sort of the backbone of our transportation into the future.
Squamish Mayor Armand Hurford, we appreciate your time and your perspective. Thanks for joining us.